That's really interesting because there's also talk about partners and partnerships and when it's a
Yeah.
good idea or if it's a good idea. There's also been business divorces that we've talked about on this show. So, how did you know that your art gallery failed mostly because it was just you and not because of other reasons?
Hindsight.
Tell me all
You
about
know,
that. I want to hear. I want to hear a lot about that if I can.
well, it's looking at what was I responsible for. I was responsible for the marketing. I was responsible for the accounting. I was responsible for the product selection and the merchandising. I was responsible for all of it. And I could say, hey, it was 1982, so we're talking a long time ago. The economy was as bad as it was, or worse than when it was in 2008. So I could blame the economy, but the reality is there are always good times and bad times. And it's how the individual is functioning that makes the difference. And so I could have done business differently, perhaps. It's easier when you have partners who you can rely on who have different responsibilities. If you have three partners who all are marketing and no one handles the staff or no one handles the accounting, that's not a good thing. It's having people with different talents as partners who all have a decent level of integrity and can be trusted. I mean, obviously, people can get in partnership with someone who can't be relied on to do their function. But, you know, one of the things that I do now, as an example, with my assistant, I had her take a personality test.
Mm-hmm.
And, I knew what I was looking for in an assistant, and her personality test showed that she would be ideal. And for the last 6 years, she has been
So you're like, yeah,
amazing.
why not? I'll just wait. It's not a big deal, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So tell me more. So if someone was in an area that was good, like Austin or something like that, your book is called Wealth on Any Income. So like, what sort of things, investments, as far as like first initial capital, down payment, or whatever it is, do people expect to tie up? Because that's the hard thing. If you only had 19,000 and you tied all of it up, that's scary.
Yeah, it was. It was a risk. I had no reserves after I made that down payment. But at the same time, I was 50 at the time, starting over.
Wow. How do you
And
make that decision? That seems so crazy.
um, well, if you look at standard retirement, I don't like to use the word retirement because there's someone I know, a gal named Laura Langmeyer, who
Hmm.
had a great quote about retirement. She says, I was raised on a farm, and when we retired a cow, what that meant was we put it out to pasture to die. Not very inviting, okay? But if I use that word, like the typical person wants to stop working or do other kinds of work at 65, I only had 15 years. It was either take risks or live on Social Security and eat cat food. So I chose to take some risks. And by the way, probably the first 5 to 6 years, I was working 7 days a week taking care of the real estate. But after that, it's like I can choose to work or choose not to work. I have a tremendous